Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another Dungeon Drop unboxing. This is for Dropped Too Deep, the expansion. So you do need the core game to play this. It does not have enough stuff in it. It is just extra content, but who doesn't love extra content, right? There's more races, more classes, more monsters, and some other stuff there. So if you want an idea of how to kind of play the game, go back, check out my Dungeon Drop video. There's the Deluxe Core Box. I don't have the regular one. I have the Deluxe, which is a Kickstarter one. Yeah, check out that. I did kind of a rundown on how to play the game. And then if you pick up this one, you can just add it to the Deluxe version or the regular version. It doesn't matter. There is going to be some extra things. So even if you love the first game, I'm just automatically going to recommend getting this. Multiple reasons. One, it's more content. If you love the first game, you're going to love having more content, of course. Secondly, they have some upgrades to the base game in there as well. So you're going to get this little pack in there. It's going to have a brand new rule book for the base game, which is more or less just going to... Let me slide my camera over a bit. There we go. Most of this is the exact same. I didn't check it word for word to see what the difference was. But I just noticed some of the different things is it adds some extra text, saying, if you're losing, you're forming a room have a monster, you can't die. So you can't purposely kill yourself. But it adds little things like that. Just mentioning how ties work. I don't know if there's some difference. It also has a glossary of terms, which wasn't in the last one, specifying what damage is, what a dungeon is, dungeon boundary, healing, and redropping, and type. It says, identical cubes, regardless of size, are considered the same. So, example, if there are 3 gems, each color is a different type. Keys and chests are also different types, but sizes don't matter. So that's actually helpful. It's maybe little things that people weren't for sure about. They probably just updated the FAQ a little bit. But there's that. The other extra little book it comes with is the solo mode, which I did attempt to do a brief explanation. But previously, you had to go to their website and read on how to play this. Here, they're actually just going to have a book explaining it. So you use them relics and them staircases. Explaining how they all work. But yeah, it's nice if you want to play a solo mode. Here's other things. You collect relics to gain more points. And how well you get at the end of the game. So there we go. So that's 2 things there. It is also going to come with a bunch of replacement cards. They're gonna have this little square symbol in the corner, which is a set symbol, which is just gonna show off what they changed on there. So I'm just going to find these and kind of match them up. So the original Collector's Curiosity, so the new one says, for each gem, type which you have at least 1 cube, score 6. Each gem you have at least score 6. I wonder if my Deluxe Edition is an upgraded version. One moment. Alright, I see what the difference was. So, the old one said you have to have exactly 1 cube. The new one says you only have to have at least 1 cube. So the other one makes it a little bit harder, because that means you only want to collect 1 of each. You're only going to score, to get these points, you're going to be able to score 6 total. Here you can score 6 for having 1 of each, and then you can keep collecting other points. So, that was the first one that changed. The second one is Fool's Folly, which said each chest scores +3, or unlocked chest score +3. This just says chest score 3 each. So this one's, again, making it a little bit more difficult. This made it a little bit harder, because that means you have to unlock the chest. You can't just go around collecting chests and then gain points for them. We have some changes in some of the classes as well. So our Gear Golem is going to change to say, now of course because I'm looking for him I can't find him. So the new one will say, let me zoom up a little bit. Wind up. Redrop one treasure from your stash to use your ability, your class ability twice. The old one said, one treasure in your stash from the game to use your class ability twice. So this is not removing the treasure from the game, it's making you redrop it, which is definitely a little bit more fun, because then you're not losing out treasures. We have the High Elf. Trying to figure out, make sure I don't get these cards on. So the new one says redrop all treasure of one type in the dungeon. The other says redrop of one color. So changing the word color to type, which I think a bunch of these are going to use. So we have Stone Skin. Redrop one treasure from your stash to flip one pillar. And again, it's changing remove treasure from the stash to flip. So it's changing removing stuff to redropping and color to type. So Wood Elf. Heal all damage, move all cubes off the health points, but keep them for scoring. This is uncover 2 health points. So I think instead, because she has 3 health, I think they just changed it to heal all versus heal 2. Because if you take more than 2 damage, she's dead anyhow. And the last character change would be for Boblin, which is redrop all monsters of one type. And this is redrop all monsters of one color. So just trying to make them terms a little bit better. Abilities that changed are Adept. Let's see if I can find this. So it says, reveal 2 random cubes from the box and return them. You may collect 1 cube of either type, as opposed to the old one. Reveal 2 cubes from the box and return them. You may collect 1 cube of either color. So again, changing color for type. Archer. Ignore damage from one small or large monster you collect this turn. Don't cover health points, but keep the monster cube for scoring. So it changed it to flick one non-pillar cube. If this monster hits a cube of the same color, collect them both. Otherwise, you cannot form a pillar containing a room of that color. So this one changed very much in what it does. But the idea is you're still... the newer one's actually a little bit better because you get to collect a monster, but you don't have to worry about taking damage from them. Where the original one, if you collect that monster, you have to take the damage. So yeah, you might score 2 points or whatever for a goblin, but you're going to also have to take 2 points of health. This one at least protects you from the health. It's a little bit better in my opinion. We have the Bard. Choose 2 monsters of the same type in each dungeon. Place them touching each other anywhere. So when looting a room, do not collect a pair of monsters of the same color. So this again thematically just makes a little bit more sense. Rather than just being like, I can't collect a pair of monsters, which most of the time you wouldn't try anyhow. The new one lets you move it around. And moving stuff I think is a little bit better ability. Then we have Beastmaster. Flick one small monster. Collect the first treasure cube it hits. So flick one small monster. If it hits a treasure, collect that treasure. So it just makes it, worded a little bit better. I got a few more of these. Cleric. Build 2 random cubes from the box and return them. You may flick 1 cube of either type. It just changed type from color to type. Mage. Whoops. Reveal 2 random cubes from the box and return them. You may count 1 cube of either type as a pillar, so just again type and color. And the last one is going to be Rope Master. Redrop 1 treasure from your stash to redrop one pillar to collect the treasure closest to the redrop pillar. So again, it's just instead of removing it, you're redropping it. So that's all it is. They basically, most of them, they just changed color and type and removing to dropping. So if you get this expansion, that's one thing you're going to get, is all of updated cards with just simpler types and stuff like that. Alright, now let's look at some of the other stuff we're going to get. Let's look at our rule book here. Alright, so you're going to get 6 new races, 14 class, 12 new quests, 6 more meeples, 20 scoring group goals, which is a new thing they have in here. You're going to get damage tokens, which are a nice upgraded feature to put next to your characters. Some relic armors, molten shields, and forbidden pillars, plus 11 huge monsters. So that's the new content. So besides your races, class, and quests, you're also going to get a new quest to play if you want to try that. Some upgraded damage tokens that will keep track of your health. And then a bunch of new different things. So, huge monsters, and the molten shields. So, huge monsters are special monsters you get to fight. So, originally we just had the red dragon, which is this big red cube. So now what we're getting is, we're actually getting different monsters for each bunch of different colors. And they actually have different abilities and stuff on them as well. So instead of just having to beat a monster with 8 health, now they have different health, different abilities. And we'll look at that in a moment. So just other quick rules they did is card drafting. So I did kind of mention this. At the beginning of the game, you should randomly hang them out. They did what most games do, is you give every player 2 of a card, and they get to choose which ones they want to use. So it's not just they're randomly getting stuck with whatever thing you give them. They at least get some option. You have Awaken the Dungeon. At the start of each round, the last player in initiative order performs the following steps. Activate all dungeon abilities for cubes that are still in the dungeon. So like molten shields, possibly monsters. And draw and reveal a card from the huge monster deck and drop its cube in the dungeon. Then forbidden pillars are considered standard pillars for normal game purposes. You can use them to form rooms. You cannot collect them, but they also have one special effect. If you form a room using any forbidden pillar during your loop phase, at the end of your turn you must activate the dungeon ability for all cubes that are still in the dungeon. Yes, it's kind of just extra little thing. They have damage tokens. Use damage tracked by all monsters. So you no longer use monster cubes to track damage. When you collect monsters, cover the appropriate number of health points with your race. So before, like, you had to try and remember, or you had to, like, if you took a goblin, you took 1 hit, or you took a troll and you took 2 damage, you had to try and remember how much damage you're taking. Now you gotta use these special little tokens for them. So we'll just show off those really quick. They're just these little tiny gray hearts. So yeah, they'll cover up your character's health. Let me grab a character card if I can find one. So if I was playing Shadowfolk here and I fought a goblin, I could just put that right on there just to keep track of that. And there's a bunch of them, so you could just slide them down if you want to, or you could put one on there for each one, but it helps keep track of your health. There's, yeah, so some damage will tell you to put tokens in there, damage tokens on monsters. There are also consumable treasures, collected from the dungeon, and they can be used by redropping them from your stash. That's the other thing. Before the original game, they said to get rid of them. Now they're redropping them, so if you use potions, or things like that, everyone else gets a chance to use them again. Other quick changes, we're going to use armor, which we'll look at in a moment. I'll check the cube in a moment, but armor cubes count as consumable treasures worth 0 points. You may use an armor cube to prevent up to 3 damage from a monster you collect this turn. For example, this can be used to reduce a single goblin or troll to 0, damage to reduce a huge monster, outputs to 3 less than it would have been. yeah, so that's definitely play. So you can spend it that turn and then collect it. And now you also add the relics from the original game. Before they were only for solo mode. Now you can actually play as them, which is fun. So they're worth 0 points. Once per turn, you may use a relic cube to level up your hero. To level up, draw a new class card from the hero deck. Optionally use the ability immediately, and then add it to your hero. The new class works just like your existing class, offers you one additional ability to choose from. Note, while you may only have one relic per turn, it's possible to level up more than once per turn using certain abilities. So that's actually fun. So it adds the same thing as solo mode did, but now you can do it in regular play. And then we have Molten Shields, which is also a new one. Molten Shields count as consumable treasures worth 0 points. While in the dungeon, Molten Shields have a special dungeon ability that causes the closest small or large monster to attach to it. When a monster attached to Molten Shield, it deals double damage when it is collected. While in your stash, Molten Shields count as standard magic shields. Use a Molten Shield to ignore damage from one monster. Then add a new monster will attach it immediately if it is redropped. So that's fun, because now we got the regular magic shields, and now we have Molten Shields that you can also use as well. And there's attachments, talking about attaching abilities. Alright, so we're going to just kind of look. And then endgame changes. Once players reveal their quest cards, resolve all before scoring effects in here's a print initiative order. Any scoring bonuses displayed for each monster pile you killed. They covered up that text, which is weird. Yep, are there supposed to be 38 large cubes in the box at the start of the game now? Yes. So there'll be 2 remaining at the end of the game, depending on, you always should draw the same amount. It says Solo Spelunker changes. I'm not going to go through all these. I'll hold it up if you'd like to read it. There are also a couple other ones. There's Fearless Fellowship. So this is going to use group goals. So Fearless Fellowship is a special expansion, which we'll go over we'll go over them when I get to those cards. But it allows you to use some extra special cards, and it changes some of the gameplay. And that's basically here showing off all the different expansions there. So Solo Spelunker from the base game, Fearless Fellowship from this game, Sinister Spells and Wicked Wizards are from other expansions you can buy, and then the Heroic Teamwork is also in the base game. So these modes are all separate from each other, so you have to pick one of those to use and not use all the rest of them. And then there's some mini expansions, which in the base game we did go over. The original video, we went over the shiny purple cubes and gelatinous cubes. And then there's also Trials and Tools, Skeleton Skulls, and some promo pack expansions, which we will go over in a separate video. Yes, there we go. There's some extra stuff there. Alright, so let's look at some of the components. That's what we wanted to look at. I just want to see today. Aha, so yeah, they fixed it in this book as they replaced it and they got rid of that one monster piece that was hovering over the other one. Yep, so they did send an extra rule book to fix that. Alright, so we are going to get a couple of interesting things here. So we are going to get your tokens and your meeples. So these are really fun because they let you use your characters instead of the original meeples. But if you watch my original base game video, if you only got the original set, you wouldn't have this. If you got the deluxe edition, then you get meeples for all the other ones as well as these tokens. Otherwise, you're only going to have them for this set, and I think they just put them all in one box rather than making 2 different versions of an expansion. So if you only bought the original base game, you'll just have some extra little meeple characters to play with. You don't really have to use these for anything. So we're going to set those guys aside. we are also going to get a bunch of cards. So let's look at all our different cards here. Let's look at our tokens and our cards at the same time. So we have some armored tokens. So these are a little armor that you're going to get. Here's your molten shields to go with your magical shields from the previous game. Your forbidden pillars, which will work with your regular pillars, but they're the same size as the big ones. Then we have a ton of the hearts, which you've seen. So we're going to slide all those over. You only get 2 of the armored shields, though. So this is something to keep in mind. Then we have a bunch of monsters. Now, these also come printed. So again, if you watch my original video, the deluxe edition, you could get printed versions of, like, the goblins and, like, the trolls and stuff. So I have little faces on them. You can still add these in with the rest of them. They'll work just fine. They made them, so even if you didn't get the deluxe edition with the printed ones for those, you can replace your original red cube with the new dragon, so they did include him as well. So then all your big monsters at least have faces, just so you can tell which one's which really quickly. Plus there's a giant gelatinous cube, which is bigger than the original gelatinous cubes from the small set. So let's look at our player cards, or our different cards first. Alright, so you're going to get these player aids, which are going to list all your structures, just re-mention what everything does. Pillars, forbidden pillars, staircase, collecting your goblins, your trolls. Your huge monsters now have various amounts, because there's not just the dragon. Gold, keys, chests, gems, plus consumable treasures. We have armor, health potions, magic shields, molten shields, and relics. And then on the back, it's going to go through all of our rounds. We have the Awaken, we have player turn, check, wait, and then you do all 3 of them. And on your turn, you give your explore, act, and loot. And then fellowship actions, which are, if you're playing the fellowship mode, you get a few different ones. And you're going to get 4 of those cards, just player aids. Then we are going to get our new races. So we're going to have a Darkmander who says unlock secrets with a forbidden pillar. Infernal contract. Collect a treasure within 1 card length of a huge monster, then activate that monster's dungeon ability. A Lavaling. Internal fire. Take 1 damage to flick a cube. A Lurkming. Lure. Flick a consumable treasure. Molming. Tunnel. Flick 2 cubes of different types that are outside the dungeon boundary. And the last one is a Shapeshifter, with little pieces of everybody. Draw 2 race cards. You may use one of their abilities immediately, then shuffle the cards back into the deck. Then our new classes are going to be Arcanist. Secret Research. Redrop a relic from your stash to level up twice. Armorer. Forge. Collect 1 armor cube. Booby Trapper. Booby Trap. Place 2 damage tokens on a huge monster card or 1 treasure in the dungeon. Bounty Hunter. We have Bounty. Collect 1 small or large monster and the closest treasure to it. We have Cook. Monster Stew. Redrop 2 small monsters or 1 large monster from each of your kill piles to heal 3 damage. Each other damage hero must give you 1 treasure from their stash to heal 1 damage if able. Yes, you can redrop your monsters to heal. And then each other, but now it's forcing each other player to give you 1 of their treasures to heal 1 damage. So it's kind of mean thing to do is there as well. We have a Cultist. Dark Ritual, take 1 damage to level up. Demolitionist, Blast, choose a treasure outside of the dungeon boundary. Stack the closest 2 treasures on top of it, then flick the stack. Enchanter, Mirage, collect 1 treasure of any type not in your stash. The Monk, Meditate, redrop X different types of treasure from your stash to heal 2x damage divided any way you choose among any number of heroes. So this is a good one for the teamwork set. Necromancer, reanimate, redrop 2 small monsters or 1 large monster from your tier pile to ignore the damage from 1 monster. Relic Bound, Relic Link, collect 1 treasure within 1 card length of a relic. Spelunker, Spelunk, place 1 small pillar on top of a large pillar, then flick the small pillar. Time Mage, Time Rift, redrop 2 gems from your stash to immediately take 1 extra loot phase. Move and loot in solo Spelunker mode. And then our last one is a Witch. Brew, redrop 1 health potion from your stash to collect 2 small non-potion treasures of different types. Redrop this immediately if playing with this shiny purple cube mini expansion. Alright, so yeah, a bunch of different extra effects there, which are really cool. They do have the flame symbol on the bottom to show that they're from that sect. Alright, so then we want to look at is we have some regular quests. So we have the regular quests with the red back, and we have the new fellowship quests with the blue backs. We'll look at those in a minute. Let's look at our regular ones. So we have Arbiter's Alliance. In addition to your own teamwork points, you may also score another player's teamwork points multiplied as the following. Arcanist Adventure. Score 3 for each time your hero leveled up. Gilded Grimoire. Score points equal to the triple the number of gold in your stash or monsters in your kill pile, whichever is less. Glittering Gambit. Score points based on the number of gems in your stash. Highborn Heist. Pink and blue gems score 0, so it's kind of interesting. Illusionist Intent. Choose a gem type that is not in your stash. Score twice the number of gems of that type in another hero's stash. Prismatic Purse. Score 12 for each 1 set of clear pink and blue gems. If you collect a set of 3, score 12 points. Scrapper's Salvage. Each treasure in your stash that would normally score 0 instead scores 2 keys paired with the chest. Do not each treasure in your stash that would normally score 0 instead scores 2. Keys paired with chests do not qualify for this bonus. Seeker's Sight. Before scoring, take the first turn order marker and reassign all other players according to weight. All players take 1 extra turn, skipping their explore phase. Slayer's Stunt. Before scoring, collect a huge monster, ignoring all damage. If you have at least 1 huge monster, ignoring all damage if you have at least 1 monster in your kill pile. I thought that was a period, not a comma. Terrible Trophies. Score 4 if you have 2 different size monsters in your kill pile, or score 10 if you have 3 different size monsters in your kill pile. And finally, Trader's Talent. Before scoring, redrop any number of treasures of 1 type from your stash. Collect an equal number of treasures of 1 type left in the dungeon. Some different ones there. But again, the more the merrier. So then we have these teamwork ones. So these are going to have 2 different things you can try to collect. So let's look at, just briefly, I'm not going to go over every rule in here, But the Fearless Fellowship is a completely cooperative game mode. You'll work together with other players to complete group goals, which replace quests from the base game. In this mode, use all other rules in expansions, including huge monsters, forbidden pillars, armors, molten shields, and the new relics. Heroes win the game immediately once a specified number of group goals have been successfully completed. Heroes lose if they fail to complete within the end of the third round. To the left, most group goals indicate a minimum set of cubes and or meeples that must be contained within forming a room. The right side of most indicate a number of cubes and or meeples that must be in any one hero's stash or kill pile. So there's two different options. So quests aren't used. Add the 4 standard meeple heroes to the starting dungeon. Drop with the small cubes. These represent trapped heroes that can be rescued during the game. Choose a difficulty. Decide a group difficulty and group goals. Shuffle all of them together. Determine the number. So if you're playing 2 players, you're going to play goals based on each different ones. And there's different rarities for each thing. Turn order, group goals. I'm not going to read through all these, but it's essentially the same thing. You're just trying to complete goals together. But you also have fellowship action. You may perform one of the following fellowship actions in place of using a normal race or class ability. You may also perform these actions in place of looting a room. If you perform 2 actions, they can be the same or different. So Insight, draw and reveal a new group goal for those that were removed from the game during setup. Discard the existing one and replace it. Toss, give a treasure cube to another hero, which could complete a goal. Or Rally, flick 1 hero meeple. Rescuing meeples, your stash can be used for satisfying group goals. And weight limit. Heroes have a weight limit of 10. If a stash has more than 10 treasures, you must immediately redrop enough treasures. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. So then we're going to get some different goals in. So we have Ancient Arena. So huge monsters without using a magic shield or a molten shield. Or you have to have 2 collective huge monsters. The backs are different up there too, that's really cool. Arcane Antechamber. So you have 2 relics in there, or 2 relics and 2 class cards. ANNEX. Or Armory Annex, you have 2 armor, or 2 armor plus 1 magical shield or molten shield. Banished Bestiary. X huge monsters are in hero kill power. X is the number of heroes in play. Maximum of 3. Carnivorous Campsite. 5 treasures and no monsters. Charged Chamber. Use 3 consumables of different types during your turn. A Diabolical Den, 2 different types of monsters, or 3 different types of monsters. Diamond Doorway, clear 3 gems, or 5 clear gems. GRIZZLY Guardroom, 1 large monster and 1 armor, or 2 large monsters and 1 armor. Healer's Hall, X hero meeples have been collected, where X is 1 more than the number of hero players. Max of 4. Luminous Laboratory, 1 of each type of gem, or 2 of each type of gem. The Minion's Maze, 3 small monsters, or 5 small monsters. Perilous Prisons, 1 hero meeple and 2 consumables, or 2 hero meeples and 3 consumables. Putrid Pit, 3 monsters and no treasure. Rose Ruins, 3 pink gems, or 5 pink gems. The Sapphire Storeroom, 3 blue or 5 blue. Studded Steps, 3 small treasures and 2 large treasures, or 4 and 4. Thieves' Throne, 5 different treasures, or 8 different types of treasures. Treasure Trove, 5 gold or 8 gold. And finally, Vast Vaults, 2 keys in a chest, or 3 keys and 2 chests. Yeah, so it's definitely a bunch of different things to do. Your different team abilities, like classes and races, will make a difference there. Based on what you want to do. How you gotta work together, who needs to do what. So that's definitely fun. Here we have a big card for Molten Shield. So basically they just have this as a reminder of what this does. I'd actually love almost if they made to have like one of these almost out for all the different types of things, just like magical shields or potions, just something a little bit easier to like look at in a little reference guide. But this is neat. So it says stash counts as a magical shield. Has ×2 health. It says if unattached, attached to the closest small or large monster, the monster deals double damage. Then it has the other side, which is the same thing, just a double-sided card. Alright, then the final thing we're going to get to is we have our boss monsters. Our big giant ones. So we're going to look at all of those. So we have the Arch-Lich, which is this little guy. So, alright, so they're going to have their health is 6 health, they have an ability, and they have scoring. So the original dragon had 6 health as well. So here's the Undead Army. All heroes redrop 1 small monster from their kill pile over Arch-Lich. Then score 2 for each small clear gem and 3 for each large clear gem. Alright, then we have a Chaos Cube. X equals 3, plus 2 for each time you leveled up. Chaos Whirl, all heroes pass one of their class cards to the hero on their left. Then scoring 2 plus 3 each time you leveled up. We have the Colossal Contraption, run by a little goblin. So that'll be this little guy here. Move to the closest small or large monster, then attach to the monsters. You did actually have them ride it like in the picture. Score 3 plus 2 for each key. We have Cthulhu, because what would a game be eventually without a Cthulhu creature? It's kind of funny that I like to use orange and not like the green. Because there's already so many other green monsters, but I just like to use a different color. Madness, redrop Cthulhu if it lands face up. All heroes flip their class cards face down if able. Collect. All heroes flip their class cards face up. Scoring scores 8. We have a Cyclops. Bulgur Hurl. Move to the closest pillar, then redrop the pillar over the Cyclops. There's our original dragon. Horde attached to the closest to gold, scoring 4. The Evil Eye, which is essentially a beholder. Yeah, a little art on the meeples or the little box are really cool. Fear. Each hero places 1 treasure from their stash on this card if able. Collect 5 treasures from this card and redrop the others. The box art one is we have the Flame Demon. This is like the Barlog from Lord of the Rings. Flame Whip. All heroes with 2 or more current health take 1 damage. Score 2 for each small pink gem and 3 for each large pink gem. So you have one that does clear gems, you have one that does pink gems, I'm sure we'll have one that does a blue gem. There's our giant gelatinous cube. X is 3 plus 1 for each attached treasure. Move to the closest treasure, then attach the treasure, scoring 3. Goblin King. You get a big king version of the goblin. War Drums, redrop all goblins in the dungeon over Goblin King, score 1 for each small gold and 2 for each large gold. And then finally we have the Lava Kraken. X3 for each blue gem in the dungeon. Tentacles, redrop all cubes on the lines between Lava Kraken and each blue gem. Redrop the blue gems as well. Score 2 for each small blue gem and 3 for each large blue gem. Alright, so that was our different monsters. So we have some just like previous for other stuff. They have the wizards and spells, which is a 2 to 5 players. Has 2 new game modes, as well as some new cubes and stuff. It's standalone different game based on the same universe. There's a Tavern's Tales, which we'll have a video for that as well. So it's the after they're done dropping in the dungeons, they go in the tavern to tell some tales, and then coming out later in the future, we will have the Drop Drive, which is a dropping game that involves space. It's not compatible with this. It's a different, similar idea. If you're dropping things and you're picking stuff up, but it has a completely different feel to it. Alright. So that was Dungeon Drop Too Deep. Inside the box is all the different characters. So yeah, if you're looking for some added content to your game, this is definitely a way to go. I would say if you like the first game, there's no reason not to pick this up. You can definitely you get the upgraded cards, you get new classes, new races, which are fun. You get new cubes like armors and the magic stuff. Plus the health tokens are really fun, like just upgraded components. Plus all the monsters. And if you don't want to use all the monster cards, don't. You don't want to play like that. Just have each of these be treated as the dragon was in the original one. That has -8 health. Maybe only drop 1 or 2 in there if you just want to add a little bit of challenge to the original game. You don't have to add all of these in there. You could add 2 or 3. However you want to do that. Alright, that's what I got for this video. See you guys later. Bye.